How are ya?
How are you, bro?
Yeah, good. Good to hear ya, and nice to see you again. And Happy New Year to you.
Likewise, Happy New Year, bro.
And you went traveling to Europe during COVID, and how was that for you?
Yeah, it's really good, dude. It's still. I mean, there's still a lot of hurdles you got to go through to do that. But I mean,
Hmm.
once you're there, and I was only in the UK. When I
Yeah,
was in the UK, and over there, from what I saw and from my experience, everything was pretty normal,
yeah,
like what it was, 3, 4, 5 years ago.
yeah.
Um, But the only difference is they're wearing masks on trains, buses, planes, museums, small like indoor kind
Mm.
of gatherings or whatever you want to call it. But other than that, nah, it was pretty normal. Everything kind of ran as per usual, so to speak.
Yeah, because I was so surprised that you left the country when Omicron broke out. I was concerned. I was like, shit, how the hell did you get out? How much was a COVID test before you left Sydney? Did you have to pay for it out of your pocket?
Yeah. Well,
Shit.
so generally a PCR test costs like around $150. But what happens is you do the one at the airport. It's $90.
Yep.
So I went the day before I flew, so I can have it by the my flight time.
Uh-huh.
Um, I got it within 20 minutes. It was crazy. I did the test, and literally I got picked up from a friend, and we were on the Harbour Bridge, and I got a message saying your test result is in, and you are negative, and you are good to go, and all this crap.
Uh-huh.
Uh, so yeah, it literally took me 20 minutes when it was meant to take anywhere between 2 to 12 hours.
God. And what about when you arrived in the UK? Did you have to quarantine?
No. So if you're fully vaccinated over there, you have to do like uh, well, they've got rid of it now, but I'll get to that in a sec. So what I had to do is I had to do a day two test, day
Hmm.
two to release test, or whatever it is called.
Yeah.
Um, and they say, oh, when you land, that's day zero. Then one day later is day one. Then the next day after that is day two. The end of that day, you have to do that test, which is a bit like strange because like it doesn't make sense because like first of all, think about it. You have to do a test to get on the plane to be allowed on
Yeah.
the plane. So you're on a plane with other passengers that did the same exact test to be negative. So you're
Yeah.
on a plane full of negative passengers. And you arrive at the airport and then you go to your hotel or whatever.
Hmm.
Now, somehow you're apparently they're thinking, oh, you might pick it up in a plane full of negative passengers, whatever. Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, the weird thing is they give you 2 days of you roaming around the community. So if somehow you do have it, you've already been in the community for 2 days and infected people. So
Hmm.
it defeats the purpose. It doesn't make sense. You know what I
And
mean?
this is probably costed you financially. Did you have to pay for it in the UK as well?
So yeah, so
Or
that one, the second one was cost me $130.
what,
Um,
Australian or
yeah.
or
So
pound?
$130, but like I booked it like a week before I left, so I have it. But see, what I did is I did the test the day before I flew. Then I flew, landed,
Hmm.
went straight to my accommodation. Then after like dropped my bags and all that, checked in. Then went straight to the place, did the test straight away,
Hmm.
so I can get it ASAP. So then, because I had things planned the next day and the day after and all that, so I wanted
Hmm.
to get the result back ASAP. So what happened was, you do your test, you isolate. The weird thing is, I was in a hostel sharing rooms with people, so
Hmm.
I don't know how the isolation thing kind of goes down. But anyway, um, so uh, I did the test. About a few hours later, I got the result negative. So what happened was, um, I pulled out one of the antigen tests and did a test on myself straight
Hmm.
after the PCR test,
Hmm.
and that came out negative. So I knew I'll be negative. So yeah, but the thing is, they don't police it. They didn't. No one was chasing you up or watching your
Mm.
every move or whatever. So you could have done the test and not isolated. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because the UK they're far more relaxed than we are for some reason.
So
All this
yeah,
COVID testing.
sort of, but like, yeah, like how do you police, you know, thousands and thousands of people coming in every day? You know
I
what I mean?
know.
Like, let's say 10,000 people come into the UK every day. How are they going to
Hmm.
keep an eye on 10,000 people that
Mm.
are supposed to isolate till you get that result or whatever it is? It's not. It's not possible. So, like, I did that. I'm like, how are they going to police it? I'll figure it out when I get there, whatever. And I found out that they just don't. They just don't.
Mm.
Anyway, when I came back, the day I came back, they got rid of that day 2 test. So now,
Yeah,
if I flew tomorrow, the only test I have to do is the fit to fly test before you fly, and then you just
yeah.
fly into London or whatever, and that's it. You're free to go. And even now, so the day that I left, they got rid of the mask wearing being mandatory on trains, buses, and all that.
Hmm.
So now you can jump on a bus or a train, and it's not compulsory to wear a mask, but it's advised.
Yeah. Now, was this scary for you, Joey? And
Why
was
would
there
it be scary?
social distancing on the plane as well?
Nah, dude, nah. The flight from here to there was pretty much full. Because
Shit.
the day I left was Christmas Eve. I left Christmas
Yeah.
Eve or something like that. Yeah, like very early Christmas Eve or something like that. Anyway, um, and on the flight back, I had a crazy journey back. I had to fly from London to Frankfurt, then Frankfurt to Singapore, then Singapore back home. And the flight from London to Frankfurt was full, but then for all the flights after that, I had a full row to myself, 4 seats,
Yeah.
so it wasn't
Who'd
that
you
full.
fly with?
So I had so I flew with Cathay Pacific from here, and I was meant to fly back with them, but they
Hmm.
cancelled my flight on the back home, and I
Hmm.
had a big argument with them, massive. I was so upset.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so I had to end up I had to rebook a flight home, and they had to give me a refund, which I'm still waiting for, and all that. Um,
Did they do it for free? Put you on another flight, or how did it work
they
for you?
tried to, but I kept getting rejected because they had thousands of other passengers, the same kind of thing, and so the other airlines were getting pissed off. They were like, "Nah, we're not going to accept any more of your guys. We want our own customers and this and that." So I had to book my own flight home with my own money. Um,
Yeah. Did you
which,
have a travel insurance?
yeah, but man, it was useless. Honestly, it was useless. It would have been
Why? What
better.
happened?
It probably would have been better if I didn't have travel insurance, because I paid $200 and they literally didn't help with 1 cent.
So they denied your claim.
Well, no, they don't cover what happened to me. So the
Ah,
situation.
pandemic. Yeah.
Well, they cover certain aspects of it, but not that, which is a massive, like, what do you call it? Like a stuff around, because I paid them already so much money, like $200-300.
Yeah.
If I kept that $200-300, that would have been very helpful in the situation that I was in. So yeah, and anyway, like, I had a big argument with Cathay Pacific. I called them and I like abused them. And I said, "Come on, guys, I only booked with you guys under the idea that you were one of the best airlines in the world, airline of the year, etc., etc. The service I've been getting is anything but that. Like, come on, like, you guys got to look after your clients and stakeholders." a bit more seriously. Like, you can't just majorly stuff them around, and you're not even going to chip in for accommodation for the stuff up and all this kind of stuff. Because I was meant to come a little bit earlier, like 2 days earlier or something like that.
Yeah.
But I ended up booking a flight that was 2 days later or whatever it is, and it cost me money out of my own pocket, which I didn't have, so I had to borrow from a friend, which I now owe money to. And I'm just waiting for that refund to come through. That hasn't come through. They said they'll do it within 7 days. Well, they said traditionally 10 to 12 weeks. And I said, hey, guys, look, it's useless to me in 10 to 12 weeks. I'm going to need it now or never. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, I told them I'm on a Facebook group that talks about these kind of things, and I've seen people, you know, the same situation as me, get their refund within 7 days, and they said, oh, we'll try and this and that. It's been way over 7 days, so I contacted them earlier in the week, and they're trying to sort it out. So hopefully it will take another few days or so. We'll see how it goes. But once I get that...
I'm sorry to hear that, but because when I heard you out of the country, I thought, Joe, you're crazy.
Nah, man, a lot of people are traveling. A lot of people are traveling.
But with all this fucking around, it seems to be not worth it.
No. See, what happened with me shouldn't have happened, and it happened at an awkward timing. It happened only in January.
Yeah.
Like, everything
Omicron.
was smoother. No. Well, maybe Omicron, whatever. But, like, honestly, bro, to tell you the truth, between you and I, it's not Omicron. It's a load of rubbish. It's a political war now. What happened was the Hong Kong government banned all flights to and from Australia.
Yes.
Okay? Hold on. 1 week later, they did the exact same thing with the UK and the US. But they can fly anywhere else in the world. They're fine. Just those 3 areas, right? You know, want to know why? Because a bit of a history of Hong Kong. Hong Kong used to be run by the English. Then the English gave it back to the Chinese in the year 2000. So in the year 2000, Cathay Pacific and what do you call it? British Airways was like the same company basically, right? They still are, but British Airways used to fly in and out of Hong Kong only. But since that happened with the British and the Hong Kong, you know, handing over Hong Kong back to Chinese in the year 2000, Cathay Pacific became a kind of a more standalone kind of company, and British Airways now sometimes operate out of Cathay Pacific, out of Hong Kong, but they have their main office now in Doha.
Yeah.
So they're a bit like half. But now because it's back with the Chinese, it's under Chinese kind of government, so to speak, mainland China government, whatever it is. So the government there did this ban because Australia, the US, and the UK pointed the finger at China for the whole coronavirus stuff.
Yes.
So this is a way to hit back at them. I don't know if you've been listening to the news or the rumours that China wants to start a battle between Australia because Australia was the first one to point the finger. You know, it's a political battle now. Corona now is just an excuse. It's not the real reason why they did that. You know what I mean? Because from Hong Kong you can go anywhere. Hong Kong you can go to Japan. You can go to India. You can go whatever you want. But they decided to single out Australia, the US, and UK because these guys were, you know, trying to make them look like the bad guys.
Well, Joe Biden was banning all flights from China.
Yeah, again, that's a political warfare. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's not because of COVID. It's now they just use COVID so people will be like, oh, okay, COVID's bad. But right now we're all vaccinated. COVID is no longer an issue.
See, even being double vaxxed, people are still getting it.
Dude, answer me this. Can you completely get rid of the flu?
No.
That's what COVID is going to be. The COVID is going to be the new flu. So doesn't matter how many vax you put into someone, it's not going to go. I don't care
No,
who
it
you
won't.
are, man, machine, animal, you're going to get the COVID for the next 50 billion years.
Now
So,
you had your booster shot. Is that correct?
yeah, that was on Tuesday.
And how'd you feel after?
Yeah, Tuesday night I started feeling a bit weird and loopy, and all of Wednesday it was just, I felt like a truck ran over me or something.
Mm, shit.
But yeah, no, I'm okay now. I'm good. So yeah, no, Wednesday I was no good. But yeah, so COVID, man, COVID's now is being used as an excuse for any political agenda that any government in the world will have. So,
It's
like I
political
said,
football.
well, not that, just political battles, man. Just as I said, the Hong Kong government did that ban because they want to hit back at Australia.
Mm.
You know, now any deals between Australia and China in terms of trade is going to be so much harder now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the Chinese government and the Australian government is at odds at each other because of this very issue. You know,
Yeah.
and as I said, they used coronavirus, Omicron, or whatever you want to call it, as as the pin-up boy. You know, when it's
Uh-huh.
not really the real reason. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Just it makes people think, the people that don't understand what's going on, you know, the people that don't investigate and have knowledge into what's going on, it tells them, Corona's still around, we're screwed, we have to wear masks
Mm.
forever, and this and this and this. No, it's not true. That's rubbish now. Everyone's vaccinated. The whole world's basically, I think it's like 70% of the world is like fully vaccinated or something like that. I don't
Mm.
know. Don't quote me on the friggin' number, but it's still a good enough amount to get to go back to normal, to what it was before this whole Corona stuff happened. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna get
Now,
it. You're gonna get it. Like, you're not gonna die
exactly.
from it though. You know what I mean?
When
The
you
only people that die from it is people unvaccinated and people with a serious health underlying issue. And now,
yeah,
when you have that vaccine, 2 doses, 3 doses, it's going to protect you. It's going to stop you from going to hospital. It's not going to stop you
exactly.
from getting sick. You're going to get sick. Doesn't matter if you have 2 doses or 2 million doses.
Yeah.
You're not changing. Not getting sick. That's always going to happen.
Now, when you were saying life was pretty much normal, were the nightclubs open in the UK?
So the funny thing is, in my time there, nightclubs were not open per se.
Shit. Yeah.
Um, there was, like, in England, they had nightclubs open, but like limits on it or whatever it is, and no real dancing. Not that I saw,
Uh,
at
yeah.
least. In Scotland, they banned, the time that I was in Scotland, they banned it kind of almost completely. And then when I left Scotland and I got to Ireland,
Uh-huh.
they brought it back. So the weird thing is, um, by the time I left certain areas, it was back. Like, the
Uh-huh.
nightclubs were back. Um, but like, my trip there wasn't to go see nightclubs, so I didn't
Uh-huh.
miss out. It didn't ruin my trip because I didn't get to do it. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So, like, I don't care. Like, the trip wasn't, I need to go to nightclubs. No. You
Because
know.
you like nightclubs. That's why I asked you.
um, sure, I like, nightlife and whatever, but like, um, it didn't really matter to me because I really wanted to go to museums. I really wanted to go to, certain locations and destinations and, outdoor kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my things was outdoors. Most of the tours that I did and stuff, day trips and stuff. I didn't do a tour. I didn't do like a Top Deck or a Katiki. I just
Uh-huh.
did random day tours that you just book on Get Your Guide or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Which is really good, just easy. You pay one-off fee, like $50. You meet up at the meeting point. They show you around, whatever it is,
Uh-huh.
and you just follow the itinerary of said
Uh-huh.
booking. And yeah, so it's pretty good. But But yeah, no, nightclubs wasn't really open. I didn't really care. I didn't really try to go to a nightclub. I think I had like 4 or 5 different opportunities to go to some sort of nightclub or something, or some sort of nightlife experience. I turned it down.
Mhm.
I really wasn't interested or busy or whatever. So it wasn't on my list, go to England, go to nightclub, like, that wasn't the thing.
Now,
Um,
getting into Ireland and Scotland, did you have to get PCR tests?
no, that was what I was worried about. So, okay, so
Oh.
Scotland I went to Northern Ireland, Belfast.
Uh-huh.
Now, to give you a rundown of the political geography / history of the UK, the entire UK. The UK is consisted of Wales, England, Scotland,
Uh-huh.
and Northern Ireland. The
Yeah.
Republic of Ireland don't associate themselves with the UK, although geographically it is, politically it's not. So when you
Uh-huh.
go to Republic of Ireland, which is Dublin and everything around that kind of area, they use euros. But everywhere
Yeah.
else, Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and England, all around those places, they use British pounds.
Uh-huh.
You understand?
Yeah.
So the UK is those areas except Republic of Ireland. They call themselves the UK and they're Brexit, so to
Uh-huh.
speak. No, Republic of Ireland, Dublin, and all those areas, they consider themselves part of the EU. That's why they use euros.
Uh-huh.
Now, I was going to go down to Dublin for like a day trip. I was actually going to visit a friend I know down there. He got
Uh-huh.
sick, so then that changed my plan as well. So I didn't go to Dublin. If I had, I would have had to take a train, pay £5 for the train, and then pay like maybe €5 for a return. And then whatever I spend over there had to be in euros.
Uh-huh.
So I would have had to like change through currencies and stuff, which probably would have maybe cost me. I don't know. I didn't try it, and I wouldn't know now. So maybe another time I'll find out, But yeah, that's the difference. So pretty much everywhere I went, it was just under UK, under / Brexit or whatever you want to call it, and I just stuck with the pounds, and I didn't have to do any testing going from England to Scotland to Northern Ireland back to England. So
Uh-huh.
that was pretty good. That saved me money. But the original plan was to go to also Paris. I was going to go from London to Paris, then from Paris to Edinburgh. But
Yeah.
literally 4 days before I left, the French government did the same thing as the Hong Kong government. However,
Oh,
they
shit.
signaled they signaled out only the UK. So they said people from the UK cannot come in without quarantining for 2 weeks.
Oh,
So that
dear.
ruined my plans. Now, what happens was I could have changed everything around and started my trip in Paris, and I wouldn't need to quarantine for 2 weeks, and I can do everything as normal. But that would have cost me a lot more money to change the flights and things around. You know what I mean? So I had to cut out Paris altogether.
Uh-huh.
Only a few days before leaving, and I replaced it with Inverness, which is the north of Scotland, which is
Uh-huh.
like in the Highlands of Scotland. So I spent New Year's Eve period in Inverness rather than Paris,
Uh-huh.
and that also could have saved me because paying for Paris is expensive, the hostel, and euros is expensive, and then I would have had to do 2 or 3 more tests, which would have been more
Oh,
expensive too. So in hindsight, it kind of saved me money, but I lost a little something, but I gained a little something.
do you regret
So
going, or did you have the time of your life?
why the hell would I regret going? That was amazing.
Mm. It's just crazy. That's all. With all this political bullshit going on.
Yeah, well. So as I said about with the French government, they only did that because of the history between the English and the French, and
Yeah.
because of Brexit. So a lot of European countries are not happy with the UK because of Brexit, even though Brexit was 5-10 years ago or whatever it was. Um, they've been having their scuffles and issues over the years and that, and so they only use this as a cop out.
Yeah.
Um, as Corona as a cop out. Um, so the real reason behind why they did that is because of the Brexit situation. Um, I think, I'm not sure. I haven't really followed up too much now, but now it's fine. So you can travel from the UK to France. But as I said, as soon as I left, everything went kind of loosened up. So that's kind of ironic. But whatever, like I don't mind. Either way, I had a great time, possibly a better time than I would have if I went to Paris. Maybe it would have been so much harder, so much more money cost, wise. But anyway, like I still had an amazing time. Like it didn't ruin it. It didn't ruin my trip 1%.
No, I'm glad you got home safe because I messaged you, tried to call you. I'm like, shit, how the hell did you get out of the country?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you've been following my Instagram and all that, but yeah,
Yeah.
I was exploring the world. That's me. I'm an explorer.
For me, I've been going hiking. That's how I've been exploring hiking,
Yeah,
bushwalking.
yeah. I was hiking. I was into this. I would probably say I call it an unexpected kind of hike in Scotland when I was in the battlefields of Culloden.
Yeah.
I wasn't dressed to hike, but it kind of turned into like a bit of a hike because I had to get from a few areas, and the battlefield is massive. And I was looking for the specific monument thing, but I found
Yeah.
out that it wasn't actually in the battlefield. It's like a 2 hour walk down the road or whatever it was. And
How
yeah, it was cool.
how cold was the weather for you?
Yeah, pretty cold, man. Coming from there to here, like anything between -2. And then coming here, it's like 30. I'm like, what the hell is this crap?
I love the cold weather.
Well, it's easy. You just gotta put a few jackets on or whatever it is. But here, you can still be naked and it's too hot.
Yeah, exactly. And no, it's yeah, wow. And you got back. What time did you end up getting back to Sydney?
Bro, it was a 29-hour flight. So imagine 29 hours of wearing a frigging mask.
Yeah.
So I need a holiday from wearing a mask.
Of course
Because
you do.
everywhere I had to go, because I went around the UK in trains and buses and whatnot, mainly, and I had to wear a mask on those too. So I spent 6 weeks wearing masks 24/7, basically.
Yeah.
Obviously, when I was in an outside environment, I don't need to wear it, so I didn't wear it. But a lot of the time, I was in an 8 hour train from London to Inverness, or an 8 hour boat trip from Belfast to Liverpool. You know what I mean? So
Now, here's the thing with all this, stuff going on right now. Making it so difficult for passengers. Why weren't they social distancing on the plane? I don't get that.
so I think when the pandemic was still new, they were doing that. But now airlines need to get as much customers as possible because they lost a lot of money over the last 2 years. So you gotta think about that, dude.
Wow, they
Yeah.
have. Yeah, a lot of flight attendants have lost their jobs too.
Yeah. So they're trying to make up for lost time. So they're trying to get a lot of people into the plane as much as
Yeah.
possible. So that covers the damage that Corona did in the first 2 years. And they're getting
Oh,
back. It's a very slow process. A lot of
yeah.
airports still really, really dead. Like Frankfurt, man, dude. When I got to Frankfurt Airport, it's like the whole city died. There was
Yeah.
literally, I only saw like maybe 4 or 5 workers and like whoever was on my plane. That's it.
What about
Like,
Sydney Airport? Was
yeah,
Sydney
no,
Airport a
Sydney
ghost
was
town?
pretty busy. Still, a lot of things were closed, but that should pick up again more over the coming months or so. Um, but yeah, there was a lot of shops inside, duty free and all that. that was still closed, but they will come back. But like in Hong Kong, it was dead. Frankfurt was dead. Singapore was dead. From what I saw, so I think it's just a very long recovery for the world to get back to full business. A lot of like tour companies and hostels and that closed down, or business went really bad. Like in London, I stayed in a hostel. My mate that works there was telling me they normally have like over 700 people checked in at one time. Right now, when I stayed there, he said, "Oh, we have about 150 people."
Wow.
So they lost over 70% of their business.
Yeah. You mentioned to me you were going to New Zealand last time you were on the podcast. Did you end up going?
So I was meant to go, so I booked for that. Then, as the weeks were getting closer to the date, with about 3-ish weeks left, Top Deck made the call that they won't be running the thing. They won't be running the tour because New Zealand didn't announce any plans to reopen in time. So then I had to make a decision to do something or not to do something. So I got credit back from Top Deck, and I used it to go to the UK.
Okay. What about your flights?
Yeah,
Did you end up?
That covered the flights and all that. I had $4,000, dude, in my pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had 4,000 credit from Top Deck / Flight Center, so we got that sorted very quickly. I had to plan this UK trip that I did, which normally I'd like to have at least 6 months of planning. I had to do 6 months of work, minimum 6 months work in 3 weeks. I smashed it out really hard.
How many hours were you working?
Same hours as now. What do you mean?
Like were you working extra shifts? Extra hours?
No.
No?
Just the same, man. I just saved over time,
God. You've been through a lot, Joey, to be able to do all this.
Man, this is my life, man. I just want to travel. I honestly don't. Some people want to buy houses. Some people want to have a child. Some people want to get married, or I just want to travel.
Well, I love traveling too, so that's why I go hiking.
Yeah. I love traveling and exploring, and I love nature and animals and that, so yeah.
You mentioned some people want to get married. I want to get married.
Yeah, well, whatever, yeah. Make sure you invite me to the wedding, huh?
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, man. So, I mean, there was a lot of loopholes I had to go through, hurdles or whatever to get to the UK. But once I got there and I did everything I wanted to do, like all that rubbish became non-existent, in my brain, in my mind. So it was worth it in the end. Now I'm sitting here in my room, thinking back of, the last 6 weeks or so. And I'm like, man, that was freaking crazy. And if those loopholes weren't there or those hurdles, maybe it was a good thing those hurdles were there because it made this experience more, I don't know, adventurous, unpredictable. There was literally a moment there, Stephen, where I almost did not come back to Australia.
Yeah.
I had job offers to stay in England. I promise you. I had a job offer for Zara in Liverpool. I had a job offer in a kebab store, which I made mates with the guys there in Liverpool, and also BT, which is like their version of Optus. BT, and I think it was in Edinburgh, maybe. I don't know. I was talking to these guys and about jobs and all that and about living there because I told them my situation. I said, look, I don't mind if I don't go back to Australia. I might have to live here, and if I do, I want to look for a job. So I was just brought up the idea. And, said, yeah, you can apply. And, what's your experience? What do you know about this place? Whatever. And I said, yeah, you'd get in pretty easy. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, do you have a visa? And I'm like, oh, no. Or what does they cost? And it cost about 600 AUD.
Just for a visa, working visa.
Yeah. It's pretty insane.
Fuck.
It's like 550 or something like that, 600, something like that. Anyway, so I had a few job offers, and I was probably like 2 seconds away from literally calling my agent and be like, look, drop everything. I'm staying here. I'm not coming back to Australia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be a citizen of the UK, and I'm going to apply for an EU citizenship later on, and all this. I was going to do all that because I did not want to come back to Australia. Part of me did not want to, because Australia has been going pretty bad for the last few years. Corona is just a kick in the ass, I want to be in Europe. I have a lot of my mind and heart in Europe, because when you live anywhere in Europe, London, Edinburgh, Berlin, Paris, once you live there and you make your living, you're settled and all that, you have all of Europe at your feet. You could travel every weekend. You could work 5 days a week, very hard, Monday to Friday, office kind of job. Make £1,000 a week or whatever it is. And then literally on the weekend, you can literally go on a road trip, drive down with friends, or jump on a train, and you'll be living in Paris, for example, and you jump on a train and you're in the Swiss Alps a few hours later, and you stay there for the weekend. You know what I mean? Then the following weekend, you jump on a plane, probably £50, 50 euros or 100 euros return or whatever it is, and you're in Portugal. So 1 week you're skiing in the Alps in Switzerland, the other week you're on a beach in Portugal, another week you're boat cruising in Croatia. You know what I mean? So
Man,
all of a sudden you just visited 3 countries within 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'd love to go to Europe. I'd love to go to Times Square in New York City.
Well, even New York, I mean, America, it's not really, you don't have really that much access to many countries, but you have access to a lot of states. And they say in the US, they say, one state, if you go from one state to another, it's like going from one country to another, which I don't know how that's really possible, but whatever. It's still the United States, but apparently culture and the way they talk and lifestyle is different from California to, I don't know, give me another state. What's Kansas or something?
Texas.
Yeah, all that. So
some states like Donald Trump, some don't.
Yeah, even that, but yeah, like even America, like they have Mexico next to them, Canada.
Canada's beautiful.
What else? Alaska, South America, Central America, so like Guatemala and all the Hawaii as well. You can go to other various South American, Peru, Brazil, stuff like that. So they have access to other kind of countries too. That's kind of in the close proximity, so to speak. But I think Europe is so much better because they're all so jammed. You can, you're living in Paris, 1 hour north, you'll be in, Denmark. 1 hour south, you'll be in the south of Italy. 1 hour west, you'll be in London. 1 hour east, you'll be in, I don't know, Berlin or Krakow. So yeah,
Amsterdam. I'd love to go to Amsterdam with you, Joey.
Amsterdam is amazing. Yeah, you definitely have to check that out.
Yeah,
no, really, it's a good time.
I want to travel Australia too, actually. Go to the Outback.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of doing that too at some point. But I just want to smash down other countries around the world first. I want to go back to Europe and do the what do you call it? The Scandinavian countries, so like Iceland, Norway, Denmark. I really like those kind of stuff, those kind of places, especially with the history. I love Vikings, the history of Vikings and that. So, and just the landscapes as well. Like, I want to see the Northern Lights. I want to see Iceland's amazing landscapes and stuff. Lots of good photography and vlogging spots there, man. So, yeah, there's plenty of opportunity for me.
Yeah, Switzerland's, Europe's very expensive.
Yeah.
When you exchange the currency. I mean, even traveling the outback of Australia is expensive, Joey.
Yeah, well, with the traveling Europe, it's because our dollar is shit as hell.
Oh,
And
fuck yeah.
it's been shit for 2 years. It was better the last time I was in Europe. It was a little bit better. But this time it just got worse by like 20% or 15%, something like that. And yeah, hopefully our dollar will climb and then it will kind of get close to, or if not better, than what it was the very last time I went, which was like 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
But yeah, Outback, I don't know, I haven't been, but I'll check it out. But one thing I got to do as well is I actually have plane credit from Air New Zealand, so I wasn't able to get that money back, but they gave me credit, and I got to use that before the December 31 this year. So there is a chance that I could go back to New Zealand. They announced it yesterday, the day before, whatever it was, that they were opening it up again in July, by July to Australians and that. So I'm probably going to go back maybe for my birthday or maybe this Christmas or something, or this December, January period coming up. I don't know. I'm just going to leave it for a few months and let things cool down for a sec. I just got back from this trip, so But yeah, I got that credit there. So basically, I have you could say a free trip up my sleeve.
Good on you. You know
Since I
what?
can't get
Airline.
that money back, it's basically a free trip because I've already paid for it. But I got to use it, otherwise it goes to waste, and then I really
Oh yeah.
lost that money. You know what I mean?
Virgin Airlines. I thought their customer service is shit.
Oh, the shit, man. Virgin, Jetstar, and
Oh, they're
Tiger.
horrible. Yeah, they're.
Nah, the airlines you want to look at is Qantas, Qatar, possibly Singapore. Haven't tried them yet. We'll try
Air
them
New
soon.
Zealand.
Yeah, Air New Zealand as well. I like them.
There's Lantar.
Emirates.
Yeah, Lantam Airways. I flew them to New Zealand. They were pretty good.
Who?
I think they were Latam Airways.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Qatar is the best for me though. Qatar is the god of all airlines for me.
Yeah.
I had the best experience with them, and now on every airline that I jump on, I compare them to that. Obviously, they won't be able to match it, but that's how I figure out where they sit in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I suppose if you find the airline you like, you stick with them.
yeah, but thing is also pricing as well. If you have the money at the time, like if I had the money, I'll fly Qatar every time, but sometimes they have expensive tickets. So like this time when I was booking for the flights, I could have gone with them, but it cost about another $2,000, which I'm like, I could use that for something else right now.
For economy?
Yeah, but like they're putting the tickets prices up lately. They've been putting it up lately because they've trying to recover what they lost in the last 2 years. So I reckon give it a bunch of months of whatever it is, and it will just be back to what it was previous. But it is relatively early. People saying to travel, but still people doing the traveling. It still hasn't stopped people from traveling, very very early or whatever. But everything's recovering. I mean, there's a lot of companies that like lost a lot, as I told you, with the hostel and all that. I don't know if you heard of Busabout. Busabout was a massive tour provider company around Europe. They got bankrupt. They don't exist anymore.
God.
And that's a massive shame because I said to myself, next time I'm in Europe, I'm going to go use Busabout. And it would have been so much cheaper than Top Deck or Kadiki because it would have been able to give me like a few more days in certain cities and go to some cities that certain tours don't go to too. So it would have been a bit more, I don't know, beneficial or whatever. But unfortunately, they folded. So now when I'm in Europe and I'm, trying to do something like that, I'm just going to have to use the normal trains and that, which can be cheaper too as well. And it just depends on just situations, man. Like,
Mm.
like I
See,
can't really say 100% that this is cheaper on that or than that than this, So you just have to do your research. You have to figure it out. You have to compare, figure out the time of year that you're going, how busy it is. Sometimes if you book it just the day before, it's cheaper. Sometimes if you book it 6 months before, it's cheaper. It's honestly,
why
yeah.
is it in Europe that you got to pay to go to the toilet?
There was a good joke about that actually in my top deck tour. Um, well, I don't think they're doing that now. As I said, I didn't get to go inside of Europe this time round. I heard something that they stopped doing that because of the COVID situation. But there was a few places. I mean, in Victoria Bus Station in London, there is the bathroom, the public bathroom, and there was the thing that stops you and where you have to pay. That was fully opened. So back in the day, they charged you for that bathroom in Victoria coach station. So I went and used it, and they didn't charge me. There wasn't anyone sitting there waiting for you or whatever.
How
So I
much would
think
they charge you just to use the bathroom?
can be anywhere between 50 pence or £2. Or if you're in Europe, it'd be anywhere between €1 or €2.
Yeah, that's a
I remember,
rip-off.
when I went in 2018 and 19. The whole period I was in Europe, I I probably accumulated $50 to $100 worth of toilets. Yeah. So I told my family, I'm like, look, I spent $100 almost just to use the toilet. They're like, what the hell? Yeah, that's a funny story for you.
Were they clean or dirty?
Nah, they were pretty clean from memory.
No, because I hear that some of them are dirty, and I'm thinking, why are you paying to go to a dirty toilet?
No, I remember them being clean. So yeah,
No, that's good.
yeah. So good times. Yeah, there was a joke about that on our tour. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, we did have a couple of laughs about that, and a lot of people found that freaking strange and inconvenient. So the hot tip was just to do all our toilet stuff in our accommodation.
Yeah.
Um, there was a few places where they didn't do it as well. Like I think some bars, some restaurants.
A
If you're
restaurant,
dining at a restaurant, yeah, you should be fine.
a restaurant charging you to use the toilet—that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how
Yeah.
they get away with that.
Well, when I don't, yeah, that's one of those ones that I just don't know what's going on. It's just a thing that they've been doing for ages. But as I said, apparently I heard they stopped doing that because of Corona for now. When life gets more normal, I think that will come back. Um, and things should get back to normal at some stage. You can't always be like wearing a mask and doing this isolation and that isolation, this testing and that testing, and paying for this shit. So like it's not tangible. Um, it's not consistent. You can't keep doing that.
Well, let's talk about the rapid antigen tests in
Yeah.
Australia. The government should be giving them for free, but they're like $20 for a test. That's a rip-off.
Oh, bro, I got a funny thing to tell you.
Go for it.
Guess how many antigen tests I have with me?
How many?
Have a guess.
One?
Times that by 50.
50?
I have
Oh,
50.
shit.
And no, I didn't pay for them. I got them all for free. So in the UK, they're giving them out for free. So you go to a pharmacy and you ask them for it, and they give you a box. Inside a box, there's 7. I have
Wow.
a couple of boxes. So literally, like one time I was in Belfast, one of the days, and I went to a pharmacy and I asked them. They gave me a box of 7. I went down the road with that same box, and I walked into a different pharmacy just down the road, like 2 minutes down the road. Asked them for again. Asked those guys. They gave me another one. I literally walked out with 2 boxes within 5 minutes.
Shit.
So I
Because
had
in
14.
Australia, there were these scalpers, Joey.
Yeah. Can't happen.
And Scott Morrison should be giving them out for free. And over Christmas, when Omicron hit, all the testing was so full you couldn't even get a PCR test.
Yeah, well, look, now it's just the government trying to use this testing stuff to pump some money back into their pockets and that because of the financial situation. But yeah, it's just them being money hungry. So
I agree
this
with
all
you.
should die out soon-ish.
I hope it does because I want to go to the strip club.
you're funny.
Did you go to a strip club overseas?
Nah, man, I'm not doing that.
You could have let me know how it was.
Nah, man. You gotta find out for yourself now with that stuff.
Yeah, I miss those days.
Yeah.
Apparently, Sexpo is meant to go ahead this year. I hope it does because I want to go.
Oh, okay. I had no idea.
I try to make it laugh.
You're funny.
It's it's just ridiculous, and you are absolutely right. It's just a political thing.
Yeah, so it should all clear up soon. I don't know. I'll probably say 6 months or whatever. I don't know.
How long's the Queensland border been shut?
I don't know. I don't even know what's happening in Australia. And I only just got back, but whatever. Like,
so you were flying for 29 hours. You must have been jet lagged.
I slept alright actually. Because I had the full road to myself for 80% of it. I slept, I think, 7 hours or something. But I got back and I stayed up the whole day when I got back until late at night, and I slept like normal. And yeah, it was alright.
What time did you arrive back in Sydney?
I got back Australia Day at 7-ish a.m.
Wow, that's early.
Yeah, well,
And how was going through customs? Was it easy or difficult?
Yeah, it was easy. Yeah.
What about arriving in the UK? Were they asking you where you're staying and all that?
Yeah, they were pretty easy. I mean, the funny story is so I went through all customs and all that, quite a bit, and I went through customs when I was jumping on the ship from Belfast to Liverpool, and they were checking my bags, getting through my bags, and they wanted me to open my check-in bags. So I open it up and they're looking for something, and they're whispering to each other, "No, that's not it. That's not it. Doesn't look like it." And I'm standing there. I'm like, what's going on? I've gone through the same stuff through multiple airports. What the hell's going on? Are these guys G'ing me up or something? Anyway, I'm like, "Excuse me, are you guys looking for anything particular?" They go, "Excuse me, sir, we can't talk to you, blah, blah, blah," as if I've done something wrong or whatever. I'm like, okay, what the hell? Anyway, the manager comes, they keep looking through, all my stuff, they're moving things around. I'm standing there I don't know what these guys are trying to do. I think they're trying to G me up, hey. Anyway, the manager comes up to me and he's like, do you have a gun? I'm like, do I have a what? A gun. And then I'm like, no, why? He's like, we're looking for something that resembles a gun. And I said, I know what you're talking about. You should have told me before. So my tripod for my camera has at the top bit, it's kind of like a thing looks like a pistol, but you use it to aim your camera and straighten it up and that. And so I'm like, I know what you're talking about. So I pulled it out. I'm like, this is my tripod. And they're all like, what the hell? We're laughing. They were laughing. And he's like, yeah, because our scanning machine only saw the top part, not the legs attached to it. So yeah, they thought I had a gun.
Was that scary for you?
No, because I've gone through multiple securities with the same stuff.
Yeah.
I knew that nothing in there is going to be a problem.
Mm.
So
Did you
yeah,
go
these
through
guys,
the
these guys were funny.
Did you go through the TSA full body scanner?
Honestly, I don't remember. I've gone through a lot. I've gone through a lot of security kind of stuff. So honestly, I just forget that straight away, pretty much.
No, it sounds
Probably, I
like you.
probably did.
Yeah, they could see you. They could see you naked too through that.
They can what?
They can see you naked.
Yeah, dirty perverts, eh?
I know. Oh, you'd be surprised because people try and shove things up their ass and travel too.
Oh yeah, well, definitely nothing's going up mine. So,
And good on you, but if you watch out border security, some people are just stupid, Joey.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care how desperate I am to hide something. Nothing's going up there, brother.
Yeah.
Nothing's going up there.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Look, you got about 4 minutes left on wisdom. Anything you want to say before we finish the podcast?
Um. Well, it's been amazing to be on your podcast as always, man. I haven't been on in ages. I hope it's been well. I haven't been keeping it up because I've just been busy towards the end of last year, stressful stuff, just trying to get things sorted, whether it was New Zealand or the UK.
Mm,
And when it finally was, there was a bit of a worry that, get cancelled on me,
mm,
again, which is would have been the third time this kind of thing would have happened to me within 12 months, which is not, happy, which is not a happy situation. And yeah, and then I was there and I was just really busy, and I've come back and I'm still busy trying to sort things out for the new year, for the new work and stuff, and um, my mind is trying to figure out if I want to start looking for a job overseas. If I want to actually, because I really want to. I might actually move, to London or to Europe
mm,
or somewhere else. I don't know. I just want to see where life takes me, man. I don't know. It's just I want something more from
mm.
life, so to speak.
No, that's good. It's good to hear from you, and I'd love to do this again with you on
Yeah,
wisdom again.
yeah. I didn't know what wisdom was when you told me, and I'm just like, oh, is this a G up? I thought we're just normally cool.
It's just nice to have an audio app on the phone.
Yeah, well, it's different. This is recording, right?
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
recording
nice.
a podcast, and I get the file, the MP3, and it goes up, which is pretty cool. That's
And
why
this
it
shows you
makes
how
it
many
easy.
listeners are listening, I believe.
We've got about 36 people listening to
That's
us.
loads. That's plenty. You're
Yeah,
famous, man. You're famous.
yeah, because on Twitch, I was only getting one on
Yeah,
Twitch, and I thought, I can't be bothered with this. No one's coming, so this is a good audio app.
that's fair enough, hey. Yeah,
But
it's not
Joey,
bad.
thanks for coming on, dude. Have a good afternoon and a good weekend, my friend.
Thanks, man. No worries. Yeah, easy. Thanks for having me.
And you're welcome, man. Look after yourself.
Too easy. Yourself, bro. Yourself.
Okay, bye, Joey.
Peace.
All right, that was Joey Harb, one of my good friends that I went to the Australian Institute of Music with. We studied music together, and Joey's into travelling as well. But I'd like to thank all my wisdom listeners for today's episode of the Stephen Shields radio show. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast and turn on notifications. New episodes are available every Friday at 6 p.m. Sydney, Australia time. I'm Stephen Shields. Bye for now.